and there I was, sailing along in my yacht to Tiki Island. It was a beautiful day, and the locals were just excited to see me. As I arrived, they cheered and adorned me with flower leis and a nice tiki beverage. I made my way onto the beach, and as I looked down, I found a tiki idol and picked it up and thought, oh, this is good luck, definitely. At which point a volcano began to erupt, and I decided I should maybe run for safety. At which point I discovered a friendly band of local natives who wanted to assist me. They too gave me flower leis and took me into a mystical, magical cave where I was instructed to return the tiki taboo to the gentleman within the cave. As he placed it back there, the curse was done, and I won the surfing championship. And everyone was pleased, especially me. And oops, oh, I found another idol, and oh no, not again. The volcano began to erupt again. I went to seek shelter once again, and I ran into a dog and a chap who seemed quite hungry. So I made them a sandwich. We all had a good jolly snack, and then my cats arrived. Yes, they were hungry too, so we all had to eat. And a great feast was had by us all. At which point, some chaps came and flew overhead and seemed to abduct me into their UFOs. They would like to find out my secrets to the tiki beverage as well as the tacos. So I made them my specialty tacos and tiki beverages, and they were pleased, and I was pleased, and they sent me along on my way. At which point, I found myself in an arcade and won a championship. And the first prize was to go into this thing where I could just collect all the money I could. So I stuffed my pockets with all the money I could, and I was so pleased I decided to get back onto my boat and go for a little cruise. I shot off a waterfall and went into flying mode. I went to Las Vegas because I figured, what the heck? It's been a while, and I like it there. So I landed in Las Vegas and put on my jetpack and decided to cruise on over to the casinos. So let's go. Whoosh. Yes, the casinos. Good old Vegas. How we miss thee. So yes, I decided to go in for a landing over by the fountains and the pirate show. So I landed, and there was a crowd of people quite pleased to see me. I went on to the pirate ship, and I joined the pirate show. Went into the fountains and decided to perform a little synchronized swimming routine. As I performed the routine, I started to hear calls of the word duty, and I found what I believe to be a baby Ruth floating along there. My friend the Gurk comes along and decides, hey, I'll eat that. And one bite later, the people are quite amazed, and he's transformed into a mystical realm filled with little blue creatures who are quite pleased to see him. And yes, they made much merriment. At which point an evil wizard and his cat appeared, and they were scared, and I had to fix the situation, and so I did. And everyone was pleased again. At which point my horse arrived, and I decided to have a change of clothes and just, head off to post-apocalyptic world where, things are just very different. Vegas didn't look the same, so I had to fight off some evil mutants. And the moon was like broken in half, so I got in my dune buggy and flew up, and I decided to fix the moon. And yes, the moon was fixed. And then I went into a wormhole, which took me to a time before land before time. And went in my raft, and then ended up in sort of a land of the lost. I stumbled upon a golden structure, a pylon, if you will, which had some crystalline structures inside. I reassembled the crystalline structures to form the power taco, and once the power taco was complete, the pylon began to vibrate and flew up into the sky with me and morphed into the phone booth, which then took me to a clock tower. And I got out there, and this chap in a DeLorean came out and was quite animated and pleased to see me, had me get in, and we drove up in this car to quite fast, even 88 miles an hour, at which point the whole thing went ka-chooey, blah, blah. And then I found myself cruising along in a beautiful scenic sunset land filled with balloons. Yes, oh, the balloons is quite lovely. So then I went into another wormhole and warped on into Flynn's arcade and decided to once again play a little arcade games as I had done before. So I went to the Light Cycles machine and I began to play Light Cycles. And I heard a peculiar sound behind me, and then all of a sudden, I was shot with a laser, pushed into the world of the Light Cycles, and forced to play on the game grid. So at which point tanks started shooting lasers at me, and I had to make a quick turn and make a quick escape off the game grid. The tanks were not too pleased with that, and I turned my bike into a Lotus Esprit Turbo submarine. It went underwater and began to look around and see what I could find in the mystical lands under the sea. I found a cave, and I entered this cave, at which point I found another wormhole, which then morphed my submarine into a surfboard, and I, cruised along with the dolphins for a while until I reached some caverns and caves and canyons, and then just really enjoyed the view. Went to my favorite golf course, Bushwood, and met an interesting chap there who had quite the golf bag. I showed him some of the advanced features. First, the Tiki Bar button, which I pressed, and there we go, Tiki Bar, and he was quite pleased. So I made him a couple of tiki beverages and handed them over, one for him, one for me. There we go. Bob's your uncle. Cheers. Oh, he has two. Let's go. There's also a taco button, which I showed him, and the taco feature was quite grand. It turned into a miniature taco truck, and the folks inside happened to have this taco cannon, which they then shot into our mouths as we enjoyed taco after taco after taco after taco. And everyone lived happily ever after. I truly hope you enjoyed our lovely little story here today. Thank you.